I'll recognize the gentlewoman from New York for the purposes of an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank my staff and the committee staff for working diligently to combat this issue of mail theft and fraud. Sadly, this is an issue I had to bring up to the committee a few months ago after my office had been slammed with constituent cases from taxpayers who have seen their hard-earned money stolen from them via check fraud. The Recovery of Stolen Checks Act is bipartisan legislation that I introduced alongside my colleagues, Congresswoman Terry Sewell and Congressman David Kustoff, which would allow taxpayers who have had these tax refunds stolen in the mail to receive a replacement check via direct deposit, which sounds so simple, yet when you're dealing with these agencies, it has become very cumbersome, and they refused to move many of my constituents to direct deposit for their second checks. And in some cases, I've had not just a second check stolen from constituents, a third, and even a fourth check. And so in my district alone, we've now had 377 cases of stolen checks totaling $5,399,808. And that is my district alone. Imagine what it's like when we go across the country. It's actually estimated to be about $1 billion at least. It has been reported that the IRS checks alone, approximately 40,000 were stolen nationally in 2024, and that's up from just 100 in 2022. So this has become a real business for criminal organizations and enterprises, and it's very unfortunate that we're seeing this hardship and stress being placed on the intended recipients who had to endure seeing that their checks are stolen and then having to wait months. And many of my constituents, these are Social Security checks. They survive on these payments. And so what we're going to do here today is rectify the situation to allow them to move to direct deposit, which I urge my constituents to do regardless. I think that is come time, and the best way to protect yourself from this type of check fraud is to move to direct deposit. Now, approximately 10% of American taxpayers receive their tax refunds via paper checks, equating to about 10 million paper checks issued annually. And while the majority of taxpayers opt for direct deposit, a significant number still receive refunds through traditional mail. The IRS plays a critical role in ensuring taxpayers receive their hard-earned refunds securely and efficiently. However, we have outdated IT infrastructure and delivery systems that have left many vulnerable to fraud and the stolen tax reimbursement checks that we seek to address today. Now, obviously, modernizing the systems is probably most critical. It is necessary to protect taxpayers, enhance efficiency, and reduce fraud. The criminals always seem to be 2 steps ahead of us, and we need to make sure that we in Congress start shifting our focus to modernizing our payment systems. By investing in secure digital payment options, real-time tracking, and enhanced verification measures, the IRS can better safeguard taxpayer funds and restore trust in the system. It's time for meaningful upgrades to ensure the agency meets the demands of the 21st century and prevents financial harm to American taxpayers and billions of dollars in government waste. I'm pleased to learn that the Bureau of Fiscal Services recently launched a pilot program to leverage existing technologies and services offered by the U.S. Postal Service to track the transmittal of checks. I look forward to reviewing those results of the pilot program and collaborating with agencies across the federal government to modernize their delivery systems and ensure stronger safeguards against mail fraud in the future. But for today, we are taking action to help my constituents and your constituents to ensure that they do have that option to get replacement payments via direct deposit. Again, common sense solution. It shouldn't have required legislation. It would have been nice if the IRS and these agencies just complied and worked with us through these issues. But nonetheless, we're doing what we need to do to protect the American taxpayer, and I yield back.